Today I'm going to talk about the front sight 4-day defensive handgun course and all the gear that you're going to need to take with you. I've been to front sight 10 times and I've taken the 4-day defensive handgun class 6 times, and I did manage to get distinguished graduate twice. Today I'm going to go over all the gear, the gun gear, the clothing, the safety gear that you're going to need, and some things that might be optional. First, I'm going to list everything kind of quickly, and then I'll go over each one in detail as to the reasons for it, why you might want to choose one particular item over another. And I will also provide in the description links to all the things I'm going to talk about today, as well as a PDF you can download to help you pack and to make sure you're covering all your bases. Stick around to the end of the video and I'm going to tell you about something that might help you do really well on the skills test. You're going to need a hat, a baseball type hat. That is mandatory. You're going to need electronic hearing protection, also mandatory. You're going to need eye protection. I highly recommend sports glasses of some sort. You're going to need a concealment garment, and this is because you're going to learn to draw from concealment. To be eligible for distinguished graduate, you do need to use a concealment garment. You will need a comfortable shirt, and the shirt does need to be able to be tucked in and stay tucked in. You're going to need a gun belt. You're going to need a gun. You're going to need a holster for that gun, particular type of holster. You're going to need 2 spare magazines for a total of 3 magazines. You're going to need a double magazine holder, or you could use 2 single magazine holders. Any pants are going to work, but you're going to need tactical pants or pants with loose pockets at least. You're going to need comfortable shoes, preferably not sneakers. Some of the things that are sort of optional but I would highly recommend are shooting gloves, an easy loader, a minimal gun cleaning kit per se, some gun oil, maybe a bore snake for your particular caliber. What I recommend thing would be dummy rounds for the caliber that you're shooting, some kind of a bag to hold all your stuff, take it from the car to the shooting range. Now I will start to go over each item and explain why you need that item and what type you're going to need. Okay, first let's talk about the hat. A baseball type hat is necessary for basically 2 reasons. One, they're going to make you put your name on the front and the back so that the instructors can call you by name, whether they're behind you or if you're facing them. The other real important reason is when you're shooting on the line, your neighbor's brass is going to be coming and hitting you and landing on your head or hitting you, and this is to prevent hot brass from coming down and landing in here and burning your eye or burning your skin. You want to wear glasses that are rated for sports, strong enough to deflect a piece of brass flying from your neighbor's gun into your face. I wear prescription glasses. You see me with my glasses on and off. I wear bifocals. So what I have found is these are prescription glasses. You want to be able to focus on your front sight. So you need to wear glasses that allow you to focus right on this front sight at arm's length. So these glasses are my computer glass prescription, which are focused at about the perfect length. Because the front sight is perfectly in focus for me. The target may be a little bit blurry, and that's okay, but that's what you want to do if you have a prescription. Okay, now we're going to talk about the shirt that you wear. Obviously you want to wear a shirt appropriate for the weather. Even though it's hot in the desert during the day, it can be very cool at night, and if there's any wind at all, the mornings can be a little chilly. So you might want to bring some long sleeve shirts to put over your short sleeve shirts so you can take them off as it gets warmer during the day. So the shirt that you wear needs to be able to tuck in completely. When you go to holster your gun and your shirt is all like this, it's going to get stuck in there. Number one, you're going to have problems holstering your gun. Number two, if that material gets caught up in here in the trigger guard and you go to holster it that way, that gun may likely go off, especially if you're using a Glock or something that does not have an external safety, like my 1911 here. I wouldn't recommend a shirt that's got a whole lot more material down low that you got to tuck in, because that's going to be hard to keep control of that. Okay, so now I want to talk about pants. Any pair of pants really is going to work. I highly recommend tactical pants for a couple of reasons. Both of those reasons involve the pockets. So one of the things you're going to be doing a lot of is tactical reloads. Tactical reload, simply removing a depleted magazine, stowing it in a pocket, grabbing a new magazine, and putting it back in the gun. So you need to have a pocket that you can quickly put that in there and grab another magazine. If you're wearing jeans or pants that have tight pockets, you're going to have a difficult time with this drill. So you're going to be timed on that. That's on the skills test. And the other reason is there's going to be many times in the course where you're going to be up on the line shooting a lot and your ammo is going to be back at the chairs. So you want to be able to carry a lot of loose extra rounds on you. For a front sight training course, personally, I like to wear the 511 Tac-Lite Pro pants. Footwear. You're going to be on your feet all day. It's gravel. It's the big kind of gravel that you're going to be walking on, so it's kind of uneven. You definitely want a thick sole to kind of smooth everything out. You're going to be doing a lot of walking back and forth on gravel. So these are the shoes you're going to see a lot of at front sight. They're just a really good quality. They're Merrells. These are the Moab model, and they just have a really great solid sole on the bottom. Let's start talking about some of the gear that you're going to need. Now, absolutely mandatory at front sight and probably at all training schools is going to be electronic ear protection. If you're not familiar with electronic ear protection, when you put these on, they take batteries, you turn it on, and it actually can amplify the sounds around you. They have microphones on them. However, when there's a very sudden loud noise, the electronics cuts that out. So it actually protects your hearing from the gunshots, but also when there aren't gunshots happening, you can hear very, very well. So these are required so that the staff knows that you can hear them and all their commands. These are one of the best made on the less expensive side. These run about $50 or $60, I think. I've got 2 or 3 of these because they're just the best. They're low profile. They don't stick out a whole lot. And they're a little more comfortable than some of the cheaper ones. If you don't have a set of these, never fear. You will need it on the range, but you can rent them there. Okay, let's talk about the gun that you should have. They want you to have a full-size gun of some sort. Having a full-size gun is very beneficial. It's a lot harder to manipulate really small guns. So if you're going to be carrying a small gun in your everyday life, once you learn the basics, when you get home, then you can practice on your actual carry gun. So never fear there. Also, you can rent a gun. I believe it comes with a holster, magazine holsters, and magazines for that gun. You can rent that at front sight if you don't have a suitable gun to take with you. I run a 1911, and I always have. That's just my gun of choice. In general, in the classes I've been in, you might find 2 or 3 people with 1911s in there. What you're going to find most of the time is a Glock, a full-size Glock, maybe a Glock 19. This is a Glock 17. This is perfect. A Glock 22 would be good. A lot of the mid to full-size Glocks you're going to see a lot of. You'll see Springfield XDs. This is an XDM 9mm. These are great guns. You might see a very popular gun is the Smith Wesson Shield. This is a Shield EZ, real easy to rack. You'll see a lot of those. You can take this class with a revolver. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to carry a revolver and a revolver is all you have, then bring your revolver. They will make sure that you get trained properly. There's a lot of things different. Obviously there's no magazine, so a lot of the malfunction drills don't apply, or they're done differently with a revolver. In most of the classes I've been in, there might be 1 revolver out of 35 to 40 people. The revolver person is usually lagging behind a little bit because a lot of the things are different. Revolvers are slower, and most of them are double action. It makes them a little bit harder to shoot properly, but you will be trained and they will take care of you with a revolver. Just so you know, you're going to be the revolver guy or the revolver gal in the class, but there's nothing wrong with it. You will get great training. It's a good idea to bring a spare gun if you have a spare gun. That way, if anything happens, even a minor sight gets loose or something happens to your gun, and you could get it fixed at the armory, but then you're going to miss some training. So if you have a spare gun, you have a problem with your gun, you tell the instructor and you'll continue training. So that's something I've done every year. I have needed my spare gun once or twice for minor issues, but I was glad I had it. If you do bring a spare gun, make sure you bring a holster for it. So the holster is very important. So what is recommended is a Kydex holster. This is a Blade Tech Kydex outside the waistband holster because it mounts outside the waistband as opposed to a holster that goes inside the waistband. Having the proper holster is critical for safety reasons, as most accidents happen, negligent discharges happen when reholstering. And when you're training at Front Sight or any other training school, you're going to be drawing and reholstering hundreds of times. So you need to get that down. You want to reholster without any issue, nice and slow, and you need a holster that stays open so that when you go to reholster, the gun does not get impeded in any way. One of the most common problems when people reholster too quickly, or they have a crappy holster and they have to mess around down here, the finger ends up in the trigger guard, and when they go to holster, pushes the finger into the trigger, and next thing you know, you're firing off a round you didn't intend to fire. So you need to have a quality holster that stays open, made of Kydex, for that safety reason. The Blade Tech is going to be molded to fit your gun exactly. It snaps in, it's secure, and yet you can pull it out. Here's a Blade Tech that is made for Springfield. This one's a little snugger because I haven't used it as much. Loosens up, but this one is molded to fit Springfield XDM. Okay, magazines. You're going to need to have a minimum of 3 magazines. You're going to want 2 in your pouch, so you need a double magazine holder like I've got here, and you're going to need another one at least. It's either going to be in your pocket or in your gun. There are multiple drills that we will be using multiple magazines during the drill, so you do need 3 magazines at a minimum. If you're running in 1911 like I am, your magazine only holds 8 rounds. So what I do is I take an additional magazine pouch, put it back here, and I have 2 additional magazines for a total of 5 magazines. And if you're running in 1911, I would recommend that, and you will thank me later. Now this particular magazine holder is a Blade Tech. What I like about this one is it comes on and off pretty quick. You don't have to feed your belt through it every day. This one as well, this is a paddle type. So this kind of snaps onto the belt and snaps off pretty quick. And that brings me to the importance of a good gun belt. They have different types of belts, but I would highly recommend the 511. They're not that expensive. You'll wear it all the time. I wear this all the time. I've got 3 or 4 of these, and it's just what I wear when I carry my guns. Inside the waistband or outside, you need a good gun belt. This is one type of belt. It's got a nice big metal buckle, very strong. There's also different types of buckles. I also use this when I appendix carry. Velcro, very simple buckle. This kind of a belt works just as well. The other type of belt you'll see, this is a 511 tactical belt. This is actually 1 3/4 inches wide, which the standard belt is 1.5 inches. So you can see this is thicker, and that's not a problem if you prefer that, but just be careful, because if you get the wider belt, you need to make sure that your belt loops on the pants you're going to wear and the holster you're going to wear is compatible with the wider belt. A gun belt is built to handle the weight of a holster and spare magazines. Also the stress, if you're carrying inside the waistband, there's a little more stress on the belt. They're stronger, they don't stretch over time, and they're stiffer, so they don't twist so easy. Make sure you get yourself a good gun belt. I just wanted to talk about ammo real quick. The 4-day defensive handgun course says it requires about 650 rounds of ammunition. If you want to get the most out of the course, you will want to have all of those rounds. Ammunition is expensive right now. You don't have to shoot every single time they're shooting. You can always, what they call dry practice, which is going through all the motions and shooting without actually using ammo and just aiming and pulling the trigger. So you can do that if you get low on ammo at any point and you don't want to spend the money to buy more. They do have ammo for sale on site at front site, so you'll never run out of ammo. You can always buy more there. It's not the cheapest there. The problem with getting ammunition in Pahrump is Walmart doesn't sell ammo anymore. There's a lot of gun stores in Pahrump. However, their hours tend to be the same hours you're going to be in class, so it's going to be difficult to get to the gun store before or after class. So you want to make sure you have ammo. If you're driving to front site, certainly you bring all your ammo. If you're flying, you in general can only bring 11 pounds of ammo in your checked luggage. What I usually do is I will bring as much ammo. I'll bring 11 pounds of ammo in my luggage, and then I'll just buy the rest from front site. That's the easiest way to do it by far. You can't bring any reloads. You have to bring factory ammo. It can't have steel in the actual bullet. The casing can be steel, but the bullet itself cannot be steel. That can present some dangerous ricochets and things like that. Some of the other gear that I highly recommend is if your gun comes with some kind of an easy loader for your magazines. Basically, it's a device that helps you to load your magazines up. This is for a Glock. I would highly recommend bringing this. What these do basically is when you're loading up your magazines, this goes over top. This helps you to load the magazine, especially when they get full. It's hard to press this down. You're going to be reloading a lot of magazines at front sight, so your fingers are going to get really sore if you're not used to doing this. If you don't have one, I would recommend getting one. The other thing that is optional, but I highly recommend after my 6 classes there, is shooting gloves. But what happens is most people are not used to shooting hundreds of rounds a day, and a lot of times you're going to end up getting blisters. Blisters in here, blisters here, and I got them every single time. Especially if you have a heavier metal gun, you're likely to get some blisters and some sore spots from all the constant banging and shooting on your hands. So after the first day or so, I would wear my shooting gloves. That would greatly reduce that pain and the chances of these blisters popping open. The other option is to just use Band-Aids. You bring some Band-Aids. They have Band-Aids on site. As soon as you start getting a sore spot, put a Band-Aid on it. Because when it comes to the 4th day and you're taking the skills test and your hand hurts every time you shoot, you are not going to do well. So get some good quality shooting gloves or bring a bunch of Band-Aids. Either one's going to work. I would bring a very, very basic cleaning kit or cleaning items. All I bring my original gun oil, which is my go-to gun oil for all my guns. It's a cleaner and a lubricant. And I bring a bore snake. So every night you're going to be tired, you're going back to the hotel, you want to give your gun a quick cleaning. You don't necessarily have to take it all apart. Best if you do. You've got hundreds of rounds through it. You want to clean it up so it's going to function great for you the next day. Do a quick field strip, wipe it down with some paper towels, some tissues, get it clean, put a little lube on it, run the bore snake through the barrel a couple of times to clean the barrel, make sure there's no buildup in there, and then your gun's going to be ready to go. This is a real avid gun tool. It's just got a bunch of tools on here and screwdrivers, and just in case something comes loose on the gun. And there is an armorer on site. It's not on the range, so if there's a problem with your gun, your instructor is going to send you to the armorer, so you're going to miss some instruction, but the armorer is going to take care of you. Dirt cheap usually. They're going to tighten things, replace things. I had a couple issues over the years. They took care of it pretty quick, very cheap. So there's that if you don't have a multi-tool. So another item I personally highly recommend, front sight. They're not big on this, but these are dummy rounds. These are just fake cartridges. Now what these are great for is you're going to learn a bunch of malfunction drills, tactical reload, malfunctions 1, 2, and 3, emergency reloads. You're going to learn those things and you're going to be tested on that. So you want to practice in your hotel room at night. You will be given opportunities in the mornings usually, just for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, that you can practice these on the range. I recommend, if you want to do well, practice these in your hotel room each night. They'll show you how to practice it without any ammo, but for me, to have actual cartridges in there when I'm practicing makes it exactly how it's going to be tested. So that, in my mind, is the best way to practice. So they make these are 45 dummy rounds. Buy these on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. These are 9mm dummy rounds. You only need a set of 5. 10's better, but 5 will work. So the other thing that's important to have is concealment. So the goal at front sight is to teach you how to draw your concealed carry firearm from a concealed, most people are carrying with their gun concealed. So you're going to be taught how to draw your gun from concealment. So you need some concealment. So especially in the summer, you might only pack short sleeve shirts, but you're going to want to pack either a long sleeve button down, maybe some kind of a light jacket or sweatshirt. I prefer this vest because it's a vest. It's not, if it's a hot day, this can be warm, but it doesn't have sleeves. I'm not wearing a long sleeve shirt, which a lot of guys end up doing because they don't have, they didn't bring anything for this purpose. So I recommend bringing something. Maybe you have something at home. If not, these are great. These also have a ton of pockets in them, but I only use this for training purposes. I don't actually wear this on the street. You can take the test without concealment. It's easier, but you won't be able to attain the highest achievement level. All right, so again, links down in the description below. Another important thing to have is some kind of a range bag. Okay, so for the range bag, this is what I use. It's a Maxpedition, and you don't need a fancy bag like this. I'm just going to show you what I keep in here at front sight. The all-important sunscreen. I prefer the spray. It's a lot quicker to apply and works great. I got dummy rounds in here for practice at night. Let's see, in the main pocket, I keep my hearing protection there. Shooting gloves. I would have a couple boxes of ammo in here to bring onto the range. Be going through those. In this pocket, I have my all-important superhero band-aids. You're going to get blisters, so you're going to need band-aids. They do have a good supply there as well on site. More dummy rounds. I keep my original gun oil, which I use for everything. Great to have on hand for any issues. Over here, I've got a multi-tool, and that's about it. Now, there's one other item. It's an app that you can get on your phone. I think it costs a few bucks, but it's well worth it if you want to do really good on the skills test. It's called Dry Practice Drill. It's basically a shooting timer. It's going to say ready, set, go, and you can do your manipulation drills, your tap bracks, your malfunctions 1, 2, and 3, and it has the exact times on there that front sight uses on the skills test. So if you use this app when you're practicing at night, you're going to know if you're able to do it and how well you're doing, because you're going to know the exact time that you have. All right, so that's about it. Please subscribe. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. I will answer every question as best I can. And I have been to front sight. I'm going back, maybe not this year, but next year for sure if I don't. And I just love it. The people there are great. The trainers are fantastic. They're not drill instructors. They're there to help you, and they will help you get better, and they will make it worth your time. Thanks for watching.